Meanwhile, hundreds of families are rallying at the Alabama state capitol today ahead of a vote on new legislation that would restore access to IVF fertility. The fertility treatments have been on hold across the state since Alabama's Supreme Court ruled frozen embryos are children. Now, advocates are planning a day of action, pushing state lawmakers to protect IVF access as the U.S. Senate prepares for a possible vote on a bill to safeguard IVF access nationwide. Let's bring in ABC's Elizabeth Schulze from Montgomery, Alabama, for more on this, along with ABC News Supreme Court contributor Kate Shaw. Elizabeth, what's it like right now as these families rally to try to get some local legislation passed at the state level?
Well, Dan, it's just getting started. We are expecting hundreds of families to come here as this gets underway. The first speaker has just started talking at the podium, and what we're expected to hear from are doctors here and families who've been directly impacted by Alabama's Supreme Court ruling. The message they tell us is that they want lawmakers here to understand that that decision from the court is having a direct impact on their own health care, on their decisions that they can make as providers and their own care as patients. And we've been talking to families who've been coming here from all over the state, a lot of families here from Birmingham, other families coming from Huntsville, from across the area, to try to just be in this moment, to send this message to lawmakers as they're starting to debate their own bills to figure out how IVF can move forward after the 3 clinics have paused it because of that ruling, Diane.
So, Kate, what kind of precedent could this decision set, and how could it impact other states, especially those seeking to take legal action against clinics or doctors over destroyed or damaged embryos?
Diane, I'm losing an internet connection, so I'm not sure if that question was for me. But I'm happy to talk through the Alabama Supreme Court ruling, really the first of its kind in the nation to hold that frozen embryos are children under state law. But there are a lot of other states which, like Alabama, have constitutional provisions or statutory provisions saying that life begins at conception. And if other state courts issue similar rulings finding that frozen embryos are children, it could throw into question the availability of IVF in states across the country. IVF is a procedure that is relied upon by hundreds of thousands of families nationwide, or individuals wishing to have children by themselves. And even though the Alabama Supreme Court decision didn't say that IVF is unlawful, it has rightly caused reproductive health clinics and hospitals to fear the legal liability that may attach to even providing IVF services to families and individuals. And so they've basically shut down provision of those services unless and until the legislature intervenes, which I think there's a very good chance the Alabama legislature will do, to pass a statute purporting to protect IVF.
So, Elizabeth, Republican lawmakers in the state legislature introduced bills late yesterday that would give, quote, civil and criminal immunity to doctors who provide IVF. So what are you hearing from doctors and families there ahead of this vote?
Right, and Kate mentioned those legislative solutions. Right now, this is a Republican-led legislature in the state of Alabama with a Republican governor, but they are saying there will be a solution. The governor is saying she expects a bill that will basically restore the status quo with IVF will be on her desk soon. The question is, are there amendments in these bills as debate gets underway? Do the families, and what we're expected to hear today from these families and from these dividers, both in favor and against the legislation, will that hold up the process? And I want to play a soundbite from a woman we spoke with named Lockraine Chase. She is in the middle of an IVF treatment right now, Diane, and she wanted her lawmakers, she said that this is the time for elected officials to understand that this is care for people who have made an already stressful decision, and they are ready to fight to make sure that they can go through with it.
It definitely makes me think twice who I vote for. It also makes me think twice about the Supreme Court and who is running for Supreme Court. I'm hopeful that more people will see that the actions that the Supreme Court took directly impact everyone in the state.
You know, I think it's worth pointing out, Diane, that the families we've been speaking to have all sorts of different political views. They say that, you know, this isn't something that they wanted to become political, but they're here today because they really just want a solution, Diane.
All right, Elizabeth Schulze, Kate Shaw, thank you both.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.